Why the murder room?
I call it the murder room because basically it's telling telling the story of. Right, here we go. After 70, right, there were 222 hanging offences in Great Britain from 1723. Stealing a sheep, stealing a cow, stealing bloody hell, murder. So we've got a lad that shot 3 rabbits to feed his starving kids, was hanged. Then we've got another lad, this chap here, Joseph Wheeldon, hacked his niece and nephew to death with a gorse hook.
Right.
The little boy of 8 put up a fight and he hacked him to pieces. And the little girl of 4, he chopped her head off with the gorse hook. Now, of those 2, which one deserved to hang? Because they both hanged. Everybody hanged, right? But so in 1752, they realised that they needed to make the punishment fit the crime for murder. So they created, thanks to the church, because you do realise that most punishments are church-based, Christianity-based, and based on the Ten Commandments. They shall not kill, they shall not... All these punishments. And basically the church came up with this brilliant idea of creating for a murderer a terror beyond death. Terror beyond death? Marriage?
Mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically they came up with this idea that no murderer was ever allowed to be buried again. So no laid to rest, no 6 foot of English earth, no gravestone with your name on, no family around the grave, no Christian burial service to lay you to rest. Now if you're not at rest, where are you?
Gibbet.
You're a tormented soul wandering the earth. You're a ghost, aren't you? Because you're not at rest.
Crossroads.
Yeah, crossroads, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the first bit. But hang on, what we're going to do with the body? So, the Murder Act of 1752, the death sentence was that you be hanged by the neck until you are dead and publicly dissected.
Oh, right, okay.
So,
yeah.
Incredible what happened. I mean, basically, you were wired up to a battery, first of all, and a leg went in the air and your chest heaved and people ran, because this was public, thinking the body was coming back to life. Well, they weren't far from the truth, were they? How do we bring somebody back to life? 2 paddles, yeah?
Yeah.
They flayed the body, pulled off all the skin, sent it to the local tan yard, tanned it, used it to bind books telling of your life in trial. If there's a big enough piece of skin, a pair of slippers for the mayor as a souvenir. There are books all around the country of tanned and bound in human skin from murderers. One of the best ones I've ever been to was in Bury St Edmunds, a very famous murderer, the Red Barn murder, and on display in a glass case is the book of his trial, bound in his skin, and his pickled scalp with one ear still attached. Still on display. I actually held it in my hand when I did Ghosts of Suffolk. We got it down the glass case. See, they're all over the country. Incredible. So, basically, your bits were cut up, your bones were boiled and made into a skeleton.
Yeah.
But the punchline story, the body wasn't whole. And that meant, on the Day of Judgment, no material resurrection. Where are you going to go? Straight to hell. They knew that. So this is my big theory about ghosts in the church. You know, divine retribution, hellfire. They knew they weren't getting through the pearly gates. I ain't going to burn in hell at 10,000 degrees. So stop that, I'll stop here.
Yeah.
And it's of course ghosts. Hence, places like this are full of tormented souls that spent their last night in that condemned cell knowing that they were destined for hell. And so they stayed behind. And they're still here, trust me.
That's a great theory.
It is, it's a big one.
Mark's
And then, right, it was up to the judge. He could have you publicly dissected or gibbeted.
Gibbeted.
That's hung 30 feet in the air. Before you were executed, the blacksmith measured you for your last suit.
Oh, lovely.
The metal cage. They hanged you and then put you in a metal cage and hung you up 30 feet in the air near the scene of the murder, with the fowls of the air pecking at your flesh and picking out your eyes. We did it in Derby twice. We hanged a bloke in front of this building in 1815. Hung him up in the air, 30 feet in the air. They didn't take him down till 1826. There was not much left of Anthony Lingard in 1826. And that was the other terror beyond death, you see.
And what a message it sent out to anybody else thinking of doing the same thing.
It's a bit like a farmer does when he shoots a couple of crows. He ties a bit of binding twine around their neck and hangs them up on the tree.
Yeah,
this is what will happen to you if you come near here. And it's the same thing.
Works though, doesn't it?
Flipping
Yeah,
out.
yeah. But it also did that to highwaymen as well. And we've got a highwayman that still haunts the place.
Not Dick Turpin, is it?
No, he's Derbyshire's Dick Turpin.
Right.
Right, incredible story. A guy called William Buxton was a gentleman highwayman. Used to rob the London to Manchester stagecoach between Ashbourne and Buxton in Derbyshire. Arrested on his wedding day. Brought here, sentenced to death. A lady of ill repute came into the jail and smuggled in a pickaxe, a spade and a saw. He cut through his chains and was caught digging out of this place. So he was double chained.
Right.
And he was hanged in 1780. His wife turned up to his hanging in a mourning coach dressed in black. And he signed one of these doors. His name's on the door here.
Right.
You have been watching PSI. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get regular updates when we upload more ghost stories.